Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Tuesday's Talk with Grada. Today is part 4 of my mini-series of 6, where I explain to you the deeper meaning of aches and pains in your body. So I started off with the skeletal system and fractures, what that can mean to you, what the deeper meaning is behind that, and then I talked about headaches as well, and last week we discussed bladder issues, and today I want to come back to the center and I'm going to talk about the deeper meaning of heart issues or chest pain. The first heart attack was documented, I think, in the year 1912 or 1920, well over 100 years ago. And in those days, heart attacks were virtually unheard of. And then every 10 or 20 years, the heart attack rate has doubled. And today, you know as well as I do that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the Western world, which is a little bit depressing when you think about it. And Peter and I, we often talk about the common risk factors behind heart disease. But today I don't want to talk about that. You can look that up on the Purple House Facebook Lives that we've done in the past. Today I really want to talk about the emotional meaning of your heart and literally that you can get a heart attack because of suppression, because of suppressed trauma, because of operating from a place of fear, because of coming from a place of coldness and indifference and to yourself, and many other things that are symbolic to why your loving heart dies, literally gives up the ghost. Because a heart attack implies the word attack, and so it's being attacked. And what is attacking your heart, though? That's the real question. I want to talk about that a little bit today, because humanity isn't meant to live in fear and not meant to live in suffering, not meant to just suppress the traumas and the wounds that have happened to us in the past, in our childhood, and over the course of many, many years. We have setbacks and we take a hit. And, you know, we're not trained or taught or educated at all how to sit with our emotions, how to work with our emotions, how to recognize them, how to acknowledge our wounds, how to relate to them, or anything like that. Nobody has had training like that, unless people like me or, you know, other healers and therapists in the field. This has been my soul mission for all my life virtually, because I used to see my mum in a lot of pain, and I used to see the dysfunction, and Pete and I had many dysfunctional years ourselves, and I didn't want to live like that, so I've always been looking for the deeper meaning. So when clients come to me with heart issues, well, in the first place, just let me tell you this. When I connect with my clients, I connect with the energy that runs your life. So your version of your life force, so to speak. That's the bottom line of what I do. And then I can see where the energy is kinked, like in a garden hose. If you have a kink somewhere, you know that the water is piling up, it's building up pressure on one side and it's not enough coming out on the other side. So you have to unhook the kink before the water can flow. And basically that's what I do with my clients. I connect with the life force that runs their life, and then I can usually tell my clients if they are prone to have a heart attack or not, which is not something that I really cherish pointing out to people. But one time I did have to say to one of my clients that I felt a heart attack was in the making. And this is quite a few years ago, actually, early in my training, probably getting close to 20 years ago. I didn't have that much confidence about the information that I received, but I did warn her and said, if you don't do something drastic, make drastic lifestyle changes. And in her case, she had to basically sell her business because it was putting too much pressure on her and she was under the pump. And I suggested that she that I could feel or sense a heart attack around the corner. And so first of all, I suggested she would see a cardiologist, and I thought, I'm probably wrong, this is 20 years ago, and the cardiologist will be able to tell that I'm wrong. So she went to the cardiologist and he put her through a stress test and many other things, and she came out with flying colors. So she came back to me and said, no, the cardiologist told me I'm good, like I'm fit and healthy and all the rest. So I said, well, okay, sorry to have alarmed you for nothing. And then I didn't see her for a while afterwards because I had a truck accident. So I didn't see clients, and a lot of my regular clients, of course, they stayed away because I was injured and I had to recover. And when I finally saw her again, she said, I did get that heart attack, you know, right? When I had the truck accident, she actually had a heart attack. And but luckily she survived, so she was helped in the nick of time. And after a heart attack, she basically realized, I can't continue my life like this. It's not worth it. And so she sold the family business, like her family was involved as well. That probably made it hard because she was a mom and so on. So, and last I saw her, she was healthy and well, right? So sometimes the opposite happens. So people come to me and they say, I'm so worried about my heart because the doctor says this and that, and I check out their heart with my psychic eye, I guess you can call it, and I can see their heart is perfectly healthy. So I have many clients that are reassured when it comes to their heart health. At the same time, there are all these hidden influences that slowly but surely cause our heart to become brittle, and for us to become disconnected, and we don't feel, we lose our warm glow, so to speak. We can't even remember the last time we felt all warm and happy and we had joy and we had clarity, because our heart also houses the soul. Like our soul incarnates in this body and it likes to sit and live in our heart rather than our mind. So you can think of the heart as the king. I read this somewhere in a story. Your heart is like the king that sits on the throne, or the queen, and that rules the land, which is your body, your little kingdom. And your mind is like a bunch of king's advisors, right? Well, in all the legends and stories that you read, usually the advisors are the cause of the king's demise. And it's the same in your body. Like our brain, which is the mind, has a very fearful outlook on life. It doesn't have the soul aspect, it doesn't have the soul perspection, it's just remembering your whole life story. It tends to catastrophize, and our mind has been seeded with thoughts by our parents when we were little, when we were born. In fact, when we were conceived and we grew up in our mom's body, we were inoculated with her way of thinking, and the same happened to her. So every day we have like 60,000 negative messages, and if you were to trace it all back, like imagine you could trace it all the way back, it probably goes back to the 1500s or the 1200s or maybe the year zero, because nobody ever questions the way of thinking, the way how our thoughts show up for us in a bad way, because we're not conscious of it. But we can definitely, and we must, for our heart to be healthy, so your heart is the king or the queen sitting on the throne, we have to adopt a new mindset, one that supports the king and the queen to make decisions that benefit you, right? And so I guess I'm also talking about self-love. Many of my clients who first come to me, and when I suggest the word receiving, are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive a wonderful gift or a change of circumstances? Sometimes I can see that something is around the corner, it's lying in wait for them. The universe is waiting for them to open their heart so they can receive. And they've forgotten how to do that. They don't even know the meaning of it because it's been suppressed. But I want you to remember that we came in as receiving beings. Because like, think of a little baby, all it ever does is receive. It's just receiving non-stop. because it can't really do anything for itself. So today I want to take you through a short meditation where we tune into the heart and see what's showing up for you, so that it can defrost a little bit. There are parts of a heart that are in the freezer for sure. Everyone has like particles of the heart that were shoved in the freezer when life was too difficult, or there was too much heartbreak and you just had to grin and bear it and push through, or you were humiliated or shamed or traumatized and you didn't have the resources at the time to work with it, and life went on. You had to just keep showing up. So what we do is we separate those parts of ourselves and put them in the freezer, but ultimately that creates a sense of numbness and disconnect in our body, and then ultimately the end station of that is that you lose your joy and your spontaneity, you lose the curiosity, you lose the zest for life, right? So think of your heart as the king or the queen. Your mind is the bunch of advisors, and you want to be open to the flow of the universe. Just think of the bunch of advisors as colorful, playful children who want to have fun, they're smart. A child is in flow with the universe, and when you think of the universe, everything flows in the universe, so that brings a fresh flush of energy back into your body. So sometimes we have, I'll just quickly go through these. Sometimes there are sayings like, you take things too hard too much. Well, that usually means that we're too serious about things that actually don't matter in the big scheme of things, and we can't let go of those kind of things, because it is like a wounded child operating in your body, and it's like a piece of Velcro. It detects more and more pain, and pain sticks to pain, and so on. And that means that you start living from a place of like your heart gets very defensive. And people that are very defensive don't have many close friends, because it's hard to be close to people who are always living on the defense line, right? So I already talked about worry and seriousness. So like worry and seriousness used to be seen as a badge of honor. The more you worry, the better person you are, because you worry about everyone, and that was seen as a kind of a form of love. But it isn't really, it's a form of self-abuse. Alright, so then there are people who are fighting the current of life, so they're always living in resistance. They resist everything, which is of course coming from a place of fear. Resistance is the opposite of joy. So when I work with clients like that, I help to release the resistance, and automatically more joy flows in. And of course then there are many, many people, like I said before, they are too much caught up in doing, so they're always doing, and not being. So that being is out of balance. So the more you awaken, the wiser you get, the more you realize that being and sitting with yourself and nurturing your inner self, inner nurturing, is very, very more important and effective, and gets results way more than doing. So doing is really more an activity, again, from the brain, from the king's advisors. They're always running around, having a party, or they're in a session or something, like the politicians or the government, but they're not really achieving much. Whereas when you sit with your heart, you often get the real breakthroughs that will, and that is reflected then in your circumstances. Your situation rearranges itself to support you. Alright, so the main key issue that causes so many heart attacks today is like a disconnect from self, right? And we've forgotten to give ourselves attention. We've forgotten to give ourselves love. We don't know what it looks like, but it can be learned again. And when you come to me for a session, you get to experience what it feels like to be loved. Because of course love is unconditional love is the most powerful healing force there is in the universe. And so when all healers who do healing session, they tap into the power of unconditional love. So you get to experience that straight away. And also people get heart attacks because they don't value themselves and they don't value it. So a mistake that's very, very common is that people just work and give to others because they crave their love and they feel that's the only way their hungry heart will ever receive love, right? But you're actually going a long way. It's a detour. Instead of giving that time and effort and attention to others, you can just lock yourself away in your bedroom, shut all the doors and don't be interrupted, and give yourself that love and attention. And just write down maybe 10 things every day that you love about yourself, or that you could potentially love about yourself, or that just a little compliment, just to start defrosting the climate of your heart. All right, so I want to do a meditation with you now, if that's okay. And by the way, I feel so passionate about this because for many years I didn't realize that I wasn't growing self-love at all. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I thought, having a big family, I have 6 children and I had a big business and comings and goings. I had a big circle of friends, lots of family members. So I felt like blessed in every area of my life, and I just felt like, wow, my heart is just overflowing with love all the time, right? And then one day I realized that's not the case at all. This is probably only like 7 or 8 years ago when I had a big aha, and I realized when it came to self-love, there was very little of that to be had. In fact, almost none. And at that point in my life, I started to go to coaching classes to help me. So I really wanted to get to the bottom, what was going on with me, why had I been so blinded and so on. And of course, also many times over the course of my life, I had felt like bouts of suicide, like very intense times and I had to fight off the feeling of suicide. Suicidal feelings, basically. That's what very dark, so dark night of the soul. And over the years though, when I started to activate and grow more self-love, suicide is not on the cards anymore, right? It's not even a word in my diary of my subconscious mind anymore, because I've worked so hard to connect with my own heart and fulfill my own needs, and to check in with my heart and see what's going on and what it needs today in the form of attention. So that's self-love is the most, it's priority. It has to happen first. And otherwise, if it's not happening, what's at play is like you're operating from fear. So you're needing other people's love and attention to give you the validation that you think you need from them to exist in this world. So what's happened with me organically over the years, my circle of friends is very small now. At work too, it's just Pete and me and support person. I basically hang out with the plants in my garden. I've probably gone very extreme. So I feel happy when I can hang around with my cats, my dog, my animals, the trees, the plants, nature, source, which is the creator, my children, my grandchildren, my clients, of course. And that's about the extent of my circle now. And I feel more settled and happy than ever before, and authentic. So I'm able to tap into my authentic power, and also have a really clear connection to source that's getting clearer every day because I have more space for it. And I just realized for me all the rest became a distraction. So today I just want to spend the last 5 minutes taking you for a meditation into your heart center, where you can be your own doctor and just check in what's going on for you inside the center of your heart. If you're driving and listening to this video, you better not keep listening because you might fall asleep. That's sometimes what happens. People relax too quickly. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and soften your body, and just focus on the word receiving. Allow your body to remember the meaning of receiving, being receptive, putting your body into receptive mode. Just knowing that you're safe in this moment in time. Everything is in order. You are very, very safe. There are so many secrets inside our body. So many things that we've long forgotten, but to our body they're still very real. And the king who sits on the throne, or the queen, your soul, is in charge of all the memories and all the stories and all the secrets, everything that is going on. Sometimes the king gets very tired from the endless stories. So just put your hand on your heart and give your own beautiful heart some support and love and warmth coming from your hands. Allow your body to soften, your pelvic area, your knees, your feet, the back of your chest, your shoulders, your head, your hands. Everything can just soften a little bit. And then notice the quality of your heart. Are there places that are like, feel bitter or frosted? Well, we want to pay attention to all the happy places that are happy and colorful, or peaceful and quiet. And then we also want to pay attention to all the little particles that are frozen over, or maybe have some bitterness, or where's the fear? Where's the bracing against life? Where's the tough girl or tough man? Where's the person that feels falsely accused all the time? Where's the child that just wants to opt out? Where's the shadow that wants to hide in the corners? The part of you that wants to run away? Maybe there's nothing like that going on. Maybe just enjoy sitting with your own heart, resting. After you've rested for a while, suddenly you might become aware that there is a little spot that feels like I'm defending against life. Maybe just one little particle that goes, I actually don't trust anyone. I don't even trust myself. I don't trust God. I don't trust my loved ones. This part is looking at life with untrusting eyes. So just see it and allow a beautiful white light, a ball of white light, to come into your beingness, coming from the outside into your body, into your heart. And allow this part of you with untrusting feelings and that's been hurt and betrayed to dissolve in the light, or maybe just let it play in the light. It doesn't have to dissolve. It just wants to be seen. And show this part of you that there are things that it can trust in, or beings. It can trust in you. Trust that the sun comes up every morning. It can trust itself. There are things that are worthwhile trusting in, like relationships. So just allow the white light to go into every particle of this being of you that became so mistrusting. Let it release whatever needs to be released. Mostly they lack toxins, toxic feelings. And then when it feels good, you can look around for a different part of your heart. What's going on somewhere else? Maybe it feels like, oh, I hit a brick wall here, I can't go through. Or a cement wall. Something is hiding behind there. So just ask your heart if it's okay right now to let the wall break down into gravel. Let the gravel turn into sand. And then let a soft warm breeze come along and sweep that sand away. Just let it blow away. And what do you see now? What's exposed there? Maybe it just looks like barren soil and it just needs some water. So you can give it some water of your own love, your own consciousness, your own compassion, your own kindness and attention. Just give it a fresh water. Maybe you can plant some seeds like beautiful flowers. Then you can move into a different part of your heart and see what's going on. Maybe there's a different part of your heart that needs some attention, or maybe you've already had enough, that's enough for one day. Just allow the breath to heal your heart and allow a ball of white light. So white light is the universal healing color, reflection of all colors, to permeate every corner of your heart. Like white light, like fresh as snow. Just think of snow particles. They have beautiful shapes and they're all so unique. Just think of something like that. Pure white light to flow into every part of your heart, the front, the back, the sides, and just creating more spaciousness. And if there are any pains or hurt feelings right now, or bitterness or lack of forgiveness, just imagine the white light is like an aspirin in a glass of water, and it dissolves whatever is going on in this moment in time for you. So just imagine putting an aspirin or a painkiller, a fast-acting painkiller in a glass of water, and it fizzles up and it goes all white and bubbly, and then you drink it, and then within 10 minutes you feel better in your body. So allow this soothing white light to heal your own heart and rejuvenate it and help it. Then feel the white light expand till it fills your whole chest and beyond your body, into your energetic field, your etherical body, your astral body, all your other outer bodies, taking up space, making you feel more expanded. And you can drop in the question like, what action do I need to take today or tomorrow that makes me feel more loving, that helps me to set the scene, to grow more self-love? Do I need to stop doing something? Do I need to stop seeing certain people? Do I need to slow down in an area of my life so I can spend more time sitting with the King, with my soul? Do I need more rest? Do I need to journal? What does my heart want from me? Do I need to do drawings or scribbles? And just let the answer come. What do I really want? What does my heart really, really want from me? And if I knew what it wanted, I could start giving it to myself. And then my heart can rejuvenate and I can live a long and healthy life. So when you're done, you can come back, by the way, to this video. I want you to open your eyes back into the room and looking at yourself with soft eyes. So don't come fully back into the room straight away. Just stay with the inside of your heart and write down some of the impressions that you might have had while you were listening to me. Maybe you had an aha. This was a heart softening exercise. And as you soften your heart, etherically speaking, your physical heart will also start to soften. Your heart will lose some of its brittleness and it will become like young and flexible again. So I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you for listening, tuning in, and spending time with me on Tuesdays. So there will be 2 more sessions where I focus on a different part of your body, why your body is talking to you in the way it does. If you have pain, it's usually a last resort because it means you've been ignoring or treating yourself with indifference, and your body is your best friend. Your own heart is also your best friend. You couldn't wish for a better friend than your own heart and your own body. And so these sessions are supporting you in you becoming your own best friend. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I look forward to being with you next week. If you have any questions or deep issues or just anything going on for you, please book in for a session with me and we can sort things out very quickly. Okay, thanks everyone. See you next week.